good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Chill Lion. It feels like it's been a minute since I posted something, but bear with me. These last 2 weeks have been absolutely crazy. And, I got to help some family out with some things. Also, I did lose my grandmother, so rest in peace. The woman was a complete savage. She never sugarcoated anything. And I don't know. She'll be missed. She was an awesome person, and I'm definitely looking to continue on her legacy and just make her proud. You know what I mean? Do what I gotta do. But I'm coming in today with some really good energy, and I'm in great spirits right now. And we're gonna talk about a movie today. Um, a lot of you guys, I'm sure, have heard the new Suicide Squad movie had just been released in theaters and also on HBO Max. Now, going into this, I really had no desire at all to watch this movie. And a big part of that was just DC, like as a universe as a whole. I feel like the last few years it's been messy. Like I have not been feeling a lot of the movies. There have been good movies, but just overall, like, it's just been a mess. And the Suicide Squad movies have been a big part of that. The first movie came out in like 2016. So much hype for it. I was excited about it, but the movie was just, it was garbage. Like I really hated the first Suicide Squad movie. I wasn't crazy about Jared Leto's Joker. I thought it was unique that they tried to give it a new look, but it's just I just wasn't feeling the whole gangsta like vibe, and just with those bullshit tattoos and just the acting overall. Like I like Jared Leto. I respect him a lot as an actor. I just wasn't feeling him for the role, and it felt like he was trying a little too hard at times. But the second Suicide Squad film then came out after that. And that one came out more recently. I think it was like in 2020, like before COVID like really blew up. It might have been like that January, February it might have been released. But Birds of Prey was the name of the second Suicide Squad movie. And I wouldn't even say that's like a Suicide Squad movie in a way. It was really more of like a Harley Quinn movie. But either way, it was still that Suicide Squad universe, so it has to count as like a second film in a way. And although that was a step in the right direction in comparison to the first film, which was like nothing really likable about it, well, I wouldn't say that. Viola Davis was solid in the first movie, great actress. Will Smith, I thought, was actually really solid in the first Suicide Squad movie too, and then of course Margot Robbie did her thing. Those three were the bright spots. The rest of the movie was absolutely brutal. Second film comes along, it's mainly Margot Robbie putting the film on her back. Now, it was better than the first one because it was rated R this time. The first one was PG-13. But and I don't know, it did have a good look to it too. It was like a really vibrant film. I feel like all three films had like kind of vibey looks to it. But still, the second movie was rough for me because I thought the dialogue was terrible. I didn't think it was funny at all. And I don't know, I thought the story was kind of just like a little bit of a mess. So I wasn't crazy about the second one. So just off of that alone, going into this new Suicide Squad movie, my expectations were super, super low. I really wasn't excited to watch it, but I started hearing such good things about it. From people that I actually that I trust their opinions, reviewers that are respected were saying good things about it too. So it made me think, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Sunday night, threw it on, and I thought it was really solid. I was really surprised with how good it was actually. So let's dive into this Suicide Squad movie and let's talk about it. So one thing I will say is compared to the first two directors, I think James Gunn, shoot him a lot of respect, throw him his flowers. He took over for this Suicide Squad movie, and it really had his touch on it. For those of you who might not know who James Gunn is or recognize his name, he directed and wrote. I think he wrote as well. The first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So, you know, the second Guardians of the Galaxy was still good. I like the first one a little bit better. But this one definitely had that feel. Like it had a fun vibe to it. Great music and stuff. So it definitely had James Gunn's touch on it. So that was pretty nice. Let me see. Another thing that was good about this movie was the cast. You had Margot Robbie, of course, as Harley Quinn. We had Viola Davis back. She's playing Miss Waller. And Viola Davis just doesn't get enough credit. I really think she's one of the best actresses in the game right now. She's like a veteran. And she plays just a really good, like, she plays like a really good, like, she's not like a full-on bad guy. But, she's just like, she's kind of a bad character. And she just does it so well. Kudos to Viola Davis. John Cena was in this, and as much as I like to shit on John Cena, because he's just funny and walks super stiff and stuff like that, he's really not that bad of an actor. I mean, he has a lot of experience now in movies. He's definitely rougher in some of the other movies, and his personality as a whole is kind of like vanilla a little bit, like from a WWE perspective. But I thought he was pretty solid in this movie. He played a really cool character too. So John Cena was a pleasant surprise. And then of course Idris Elba, who is just fucking a stud veteran actor in so many good shows and movies. I particularly still take it back. Like I loved him in The Wire. The Wire, he was awesome. And then he's been in a lot of movies. Idris Elba is just really a talented person, dope actor. He DJs too, so if you're into the whole music world like I am, he could put on a good DJ set. So yeah, this movie had a strong cast. And then aside from cast, it had about a runtime of 2 hours and 12 minutes. So it was a pretty lengthy film too. So you'll definitely get your money's worth if you decide to go to the movies to see this. But yeah, that was kind of a quick rundown of me babbling. But let's kind of just get things in order a little bit. I want to give this movie its verdict. I do that verdict early. I'm gonna give it 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was really, really enjoyable. It was wild. The movie was fucking crazy. Like I was happy to see that it was rated R again. But this one was really, really rated R. Like this shit was bloody. And yeah, let's get into the likes. All right, so first, I think the highlight for me is just the overall structure of the film as a whole, just how it was paced. Like I said in previous DC movies, especially like Wonder Woman 84 and the previous Suicide Squad movies, and I mean, Aquaman was decent, but that one wasn't the best either. But overall, I just feel like sometimes the DC movies are just messy. I just think they're doing too much, and this one really felt like it had its identity. This Suicide Squad movie, from beginning to majority towards the end, it started to fall off a little bit for me. But this movie just, I don't know, it was really paced well. Everything flowed exactly how it was supposed to. It had its identity. So that was a big like for me, because I just feel like the DC universe has just been missing that structure in a lot of its previous films in the recent years. So this was definitely a dope, and that was definitely the highlighted like for me. Action was great. That's another like, along with the blood that I briefly mentioned before. I'm going to get into some details about some things later in the video when I get into the spoiler segment. But oh man, this this movie was freaking bloody, and it had some really cool action sequences. Like a lot of the scenes, I don't know whether it was the combat or the shooting. Everything was smooth. Everything was smooth. So kudos to the action. Another thing I liked about it, it was just it was very vibrant film. It had some real tasteful shots, and it really gave off like a vibe, like even from like scene to scene with the editing. I thought the transitions were really smooth. So that was definitely another that was a big plus for me. I really appreciated that, because that goes along with the pacing and structure. Like it just like, I don't know, the movie was just really well thought out. It was really well thought out, and that goes along with the writing too. Not only did James Gunn direct it, I'm pretty sure he wrote. I'm pretty sure he wrote the screenplay to this film as well. So this is like full on James Gunn right now. It is definitely a signature film of his, and I'm glad to see that it's getting praise. Because look, I don't really pick a side when it comes to Marvel or DC. I actually prefer DC. If we're going off of source material, I just think DC is a much darker universe than Marvel. So as a whole, I think I would say I like DC better. But in terms of just the movies and just the overall cinematic universes, I think Marvel blows DC out the water. And I've spent a lot of years, because I want DC. I'm passionate. Like I want DC to be popping, because it has such good source material. So with some of the latest DC films, I just like, I don't know. I spent a lot of time shitting on them and just questioning the direction. So this was a breath of fresh air. This movie was definitely a breath of fresh air. It did get a 7.5 though, so it obviously didn't have a perfect score. There were some dislikes for me. I feel like a lot of the jokes, like there were funny situations in the movie, and there were some jokes that hit, but there were a high number of jokes in this movie that fell really flat, and I don't know. Maybe if you have a certain IQ level, I think you would appreciate some of the jokes, but yeah, I don't know. Like it just, they were trying a little too hard at times. But the film was so enjoyable that a lot of that was a little easier this time around to ignore. So yeah, jokes fell flat. That was a dislike for me. Acting wasn't the best, but luckily I feel like the movie was written well, so I think that actually helped some of the actors out. And so it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. It's definitely tolerable, even though it's a dislike for me. It didn't take too much off the score. Let's see. One thing that I didn't like, I did feel like towards the end, of the movie, I did feel like it started to lose a little bit of steam. Um, I'm not sure if maybe the runtime had to do with it. Maybe if they could just cut it like a couple minutes, or it might not even be the runtime. It's just like towards the end, I just like, there was a lot going on. It was still very entertaining, but yeah, I just I enjoyed most of the film. The ending was just, it was cool. It was cool. And I'm not talking about specifically what happens in the ending, but just like the third act, just how kind of everything kind of just starts to clean up. Like, it was all right for me. Not a huge dislike, but just like, I just felt like it just lost a little steam for me. But that might just be me. I'm sure everybody was still into it. Also, a dislike for me, and I'm not gonna give anything away until we get to the spoilers, so don't worry, I'll talk about this later in the video. But there is a post-credit scene in this movie, and it's important, but I didn't like the post-credit scene, and I will explain why I didn't like it when we get to spoilers. But for now, this is for like some of the people who might have not seen the movie, who might have been on the fence. I have to say, like, I this movie is giving me hope of the direction that DC's going in. Like, I'm actually kind of excited. James Gunn was a really good director to bring in to this universe, and I think it gave DC, gave it some steam back. A lot of people want the Snyder cut like well, not the Snyder cut, like the Snyderverse, I should say. To be like reestablished. I kind of I like what kudos to Zack Snyder. His version of the Justice League, his full version of the Justice League, was much better than the other one. But there's still certain things that I just had questions about, and although if it was to continue, I'm sure it would still be in a better direction. But I don't know. It took you 4 hours to justify one movie, man. Like this, it's not practical enough. I think Zack Snyder just has way too many ideas. He was doing too much, in my opinion. So getting more people like maybe James Gunn and maybe other like directors that are doing their thing right now. I don't know. I have hope for DC. Especially with another Batman movie coming out with a new Batman, and that's Robert Pattinson. I know some might be on the fence because you guys only know him for like playing Edward Cullen in the Twilight movies, but Robert Pattinson is an amazing actor. He is in a long list of really good films, and he has a really good range as an actor. So I think him as Bruce Wayne, I just find that really interesting because I think better than maybe any other actor who's played the part. I think he's going to really show through his acting the trauma that Batman carries. Just like, there's trauma with every Batman movie that they talk about, they highlight. But I'm just talking about just from an acting perspective. He's going to be carrying that trauma, I think, better than any other Batman. And you guys are gonna learn in 2022 when that Batman movie comes out. Like I have high hopes for that one. So let's we got about like maybe 10 minutes left. Let's get into the spoilers. So if you haven't seen the Suicide Squad movie yet, go check it out. It's definitely worth it. You could watch it in the movie theater, which I definitely recommend. I didn't watch it in the movie theater, but from what I've seen, I think this would be an awesome movie to see in theaters. Even see it in IMAX. I'm sure in IMAX it's even better. It's bloody fun. You'll definitely like it. So yeah, go see it. Spoilers are about to come down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's get into some spoilers. I want to talk about some of the characters. I want to specifically talk more about scenes, like specific scenes that happen. Let's talk Pete Davidson. Talk about a tone fucking setter. Bro, like, I'm a Pete Davidson fan. Like, I'm not like a super fan, but like, I have a lot of respect for Pete Davidson. I think the dude is really funny. Although Saturday Night Live sucks now, he's still a bright spot of the show. And then you're starting to see him branch out in other things. Like he had that movie King of Staten Island. That was like a really well written like passion project, it felt like. And he's a pretty good actor, so like I have respect for Pete Davidson. So when I saw that he was in this, I was thinking like, yeah, Pete Davidson, like he should bring a fun element. Barely in the movie. And when I say tone setter, like this man gets his fucking face blown off. Like that was so awesome. He ratted out like everyone's plan. This is the beginning of the film. He's on the island like, hey guys, it was me, you guys remember me? And they just didn't give a fuck. Like when that happened, that's when I just knew. I was just like, okay, this movie has a whole, the series of movies just has a whole new feel for it. So shout out to that scene. I thought we were gonna get more Pete Davidson in it, but him getting his face shot off like that was pretty fucking cool. I guess talking about characters still, Sylvester Stallone playing as the shark was interesting because like the shark's dialogue was just so pointless for me. Cool character, but like at the same time kind of like a corny character at the same time. I thought any moment like Sylvester was just gonna go off script and just go back into like his Rocky impressions. I thought Margot Robbie's gonna be talking to him, the shark or the rat girl talking to him, and he's coming out, no one's gonna hit you harder than life. It's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you could get hit. Adrian. I thought we were gonna get full on Rocky for a second. Sylvester Stallone as the shark, it was what it was. His character was bleh. But let's talk about some scenes, cause there were some stuff I thought was cool aside from Pete Davidson getting shot. John Cena Idris Elba scene when they're going through that rebel camp and they're just like taking turns, just like slaughtering people because they think they're saving their guy. But turns out this was just a rebel camp that actually saved him, saved the captain or whatever. And freaking, they're just going in, they're just killing all of their people. They're like having a pissing contest too because they're seeing who could do the coolest kills. That was a really, really cool sequence. I really enjoyed it. There was one thing I didn't like though. There was one sequence where like they like shot like one of the rebels in the head, and the person made like a pretty loud noise and like fell in the air and fell on the ground. So that was cool, whatever. But then I guess it was all in one shot. Right after doing that, they step over the person and they start walking forward, and you still see the dead bodies that Cena and Idris just finished killing with guns. And then it sinks right into a scene of them sneaking behind these two guys who are standing 5 feet away from the people they just shot. But no, they're it's because they're looking the other way. They're looking the other way, smoking a cigarette. They don't hear any of that. 5 fucking feet away? That was like super unrealistic. The guy should have turned around like what the hell, but no, instead they got to do like cool like sneak attack kills, and the kills were cool, but just in that moment it didn't make sense. Like you can't you can't just shoot somebody 5 feet away from someone who's looking the other way and then do a stealth kill like you were never there. That made no sense. But directly after that, it was pretty cool with Cena where after he kills the one dude, he just comes passing by, I guess, a dude who was like injured or whatever with just like, I think it was a knife or like one of those like big hacking things, and he was just like like dude, fucking insane. So that was a cool sequence. Best scene of the movie for me was Harley Quinn's escape scene. I thought that was really smooth because one, they're setting it up like these guys are gonna be saving her, because she's the one that's a prisoner for killing the president or whatever that good looking dude was. And but the whole time while they're like setting up and getting ready to play, and she's just mowing through everybody, and it's really cool just how she got away. I thought it was really smooth. She used actual like real jujitsu. She got the guy in a triangle choke, like pretty much slept him, and then with her foot took the key. Word on the streets is that Margot Robbie actually really did the thing with the foot, where she like kind of kicked it back and just started like, yeah, the word on the streets, I've been reading articles, Margot Robbie actually was flexible and did that. There was no double for that. So if that's true, shout out to her, to Margot Robbie. But yeah, overall the escape scene was really cool. She came in there guns blazing, some really cool shooting sequences. And then there's of course that one like signature where she just has the fucking assault rifle and starts mowing down the hallway full of like guards, and then like I guess the flowers and stuff start popping in the background. That scene was pretty trippy. That scene was definitely trippy. I appreciated it. I just felt like they started to go over the top with it. So in my opinion, I just would have preferred if it was just more blood in that scene, like kind of like on some Kill Bill shit, rather than the OD like rainbow vibrant like flowers and everything flying by as she's killing all these people. Like I said, it was cool. It brought a vibe and stuff, but they're just going a little OD with it. But that was definitely the best scene in the film for me. Ending, like I said, it lost some steam for me. Like it was cool, like they're fighting the star or whatever, and I guess it was just a little underwhelming. Then with the rats, like the whole thing, this isn't your land, or this isn't my land, this is their land, and the rat lady has all the rats coming, and yeah, it was just like whatever. Like it wasn't anything too crazy. And then lastly, I mentioned to you guys that I didn't like the post credit scene. Just to come full circle and wrap this up. Um, the post credit scene made sense. But the reason I didn't like it was because I felt like it was too predictable, and it was spoiled by just Warner Brothers like headlining news. Like that Friday when Suicide Squad came out, mind you, I didn't see the movie till Sunday, but that Friday we're seeing articles hitting our feeds like HBO Max is going to be releasing a Peacemaker series. Peacemaker's John Cena's character who who dies at a certain point of the film, well, towards the ending, of course. But it's just like I wish like I didn't see those articles because that's what made the post credit scene so predictable. Because it's like, oh, John Cena's alive still. Like, duh. Your PR team couldn't like give it a month. Give it a month of people watch of like just the release doing its numbers in the box office, whatever box office is still there because restrictions are coming back. But like just let the movie do its rounds. Let people watch it more than once. Watch it more like, I don't know, give people a chance to watch. But no, Friday their team just had to put out the news. Yeah, Peacemaker series coming out. I guess like part of me when I was watching the movie told myself, well, if John Cena's character dies in this movie, like maybe the Peacemaker series takes place in the past. But supposedly it's gonna take place in the past and present. So I don't know. It spoiled the post credit scene for me. But yeah, that's a wrap. I was considering like in July I was considering talking about this movie, but I don't know. I just like because of how I felt about the previous films, I thought I was gonna really trash this movie, and I'm happy to say that I will always give credit to where it's due, and this movie deserved praise, and I'm glad people liked it. I'm glad people enjoyed it, and yeah, let's see where DC goes from here. But if you guys are still watching, I really appreciate the support. I couldn't thank you enough. We got some fun ideas brewing. I know this is like a little bit of a low budget podcast, but I'm telling you, I'm in this for the long haul, and I can't wait to just eventually do all the things that I'm thinking about. Next things you guys could see, I'll be talking about MTV's The Challenge, and I'm going to be talking about Showtime's The Shy. But anyway, you guys have a good day. Peace.